Hello, we are live. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me just check we are live. Let me know in the chat if you can see me, because we are in for a wonderful live stream spectacular on this wonderful Thursday afternoon if you're in America, and it's Friday morning in sunny Australia where we are. We can see me. Chat is lit up. Thank you very much. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for waiting. I know there were so many people that have been waiting for a long time, and I really appreciate it. We've got shout out where we've got some poggers out there. Compliments on the hair. Let me know where you're from in the chat. I want to see how many countries. What's the most obscure country? What's the country with the lowest population that we have in the chat? We've got Mexico, Latvia. That's excellent. We've also, I need to shout out my Danny Crook. Danny Crook gave me a super chat, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much, Danny. I mentioned he would buy bat merch on a mug. So there's something I want to get to a lot later. This stream is going to be mainly just a big Q&A, hanging out with you guys. I'm going to be answering your questions, talking to you about motion design, the industry, answering really anything you want, anything that you can ask me. I'll probably answer it or find a nice political way to divert around it if it's something I cannot speak about, for it is too red hot. But that's what we're going to be doing. So let me see what else we've got in the chat. We've got people from the Ukraine, Kenya, Costa Rica. Excellent. I know there's an island of Isla Nubla off the coast of Costa Rica, which I'm very interested in visiting. Isla Sorna as well. Everyone's ready. How many people have we got in the chat? We've got we've got 200 people. Thank you, Lara, TCAG, for the super chat. I really appreciate that as well. I'm so glad that so many people have shown up. We've got Black Mixture in the chat. Black Mixture also has an excellent YouTube channel, teaches awesome After Effects, and he brings the energy to his tutorials. I wish I had that sort of a charisma in mind. So thank you, Mr. Mixture. So got someone from Atlanta, Colombia, Netherlands, Honduras. Oh wow, excellent! Everyone, people showing Black Mixture some love. Poland, excellent. Venezuela, Brazil. We've got Antarctica. Glad we've got some people down there doing the hard science, investigating penguins, or maybe they're just avoiding everything else going out in the world. Argentina, Belgium, we've got loads of folks in here. North Carolina, Serbia, Bhutan, a little cold out there for Spencer. NYC, Belgium, Panama, Switzerland. Okay, awesome. I'm going to stop just naming countries now, but thank you. Anyone there from Azerbaijan? Yes, the live stream will be saved, so if you do have to duck out, you can watch the whole thing later. I'm going to keep this one up on the channel in perpetuity. Raul from Set Motion, thank you so much for the super chat. Any new motion designer freelancers should definitely think of getting the Freelance Manifesto book. So useful. I 100% agree. I think that is the best investment you can make with $10 if you are a motion designer. It's a book by Joey Corriman. It's on Amazon. I think it's $10 for the Kindle version, and it just breaks down the process of how to find new clients as a freelancer and an introduction to freelance life. And that's something that it really inspired me to go freelance in the first place. And if I hadn't have gone freelance, I wouldn't have started this YouTube channel and started me on this whole journey. So I definitely think that's one of the best things, one of the best purchases you can make. All right, can we start? Okay. We've got some respect for fractal noise in the chat as well. Yeah, let's start. First things I want to announce is that we hit some channel milestones recently. So I thought, that's kind of the reason for this live stream. We hit 300,000 subscribers 2 weeks ago, which is really exciting. I had, no idea the channel would grow this big, this quickly, or even at all. So I really appreciate everyone out there who subscribed, everyone who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who comments in them. Or, that really helps. That is the best way to support the channel. If you want to do anything to help me, like watching the videos, liking them, and subscribing is literally the best thing you can do for me. That warms my heart the most, and I really appreciate it. And Also, we hit 100 video uploads. So I uploaded my 100th video last week. This is now, I suppose, will be the official video 101. So like a chew 101, it'll be, well, I suppose the 101 is an introduction. This will be a Q&A, so answering questions. And like I said before, we've got a bunch of new people in the chat. Oh my God, we've got 430 in the chat. So 430 viewers. So for the next hour or so, maybe a bit more, depending on how much fun we're having, I'm going to answer questions about motion design, about design, animation, YouTube if you want, really anything, anything you want to ask me as well. Anything. Okay. Day rates. We've got day rates in the chat with a very spicy request. Day rates have requested me, first of all, to take my shirt off. And I'm going to let you know that is not happening unless you add a couple of zeros to that amount. If we get to 600, I'll take my shirt off. No, I don't want to go down this road. I'm not promising anything like that. But thank you, Day Rates. And if you haven't checked them out, Day Rates is an awesome YouTube channel by some of my, good friends in Sydney. They run Chalk Studio, and their channel is just, talking about the motion design industry really casually, much like we're doing today, but with excellent banter and with insights from, studio owners and people that are, doing things in the game. Okay, yes, this has gone downhill to an OnlyFans route real fast, so no more of that. Okay. Oh, okay, we've got another super chat. Thank you very much from, okay, I'm sorry I cannot pronounce your name. There's a lot of Cyrillic characters in there, but Kataka? So they say, I've just started doing motion design. I have no experience drawing. Do you think it's really important to know how to draw in motion design? I don't think drawing is necessarily important for motion design. It depends what type of work you want to do. Well, like my background, I definitely learned a lot of drawing before I started in motion design. I wanted to be an illustrator before I wanted to be an animator, and before that a designer, and before that I was sort of, the artsy kid in school. So I did a lot of art and drawing, and I thought, fine artist was the only sort of creative career that was possible for someone. So I did a lot of drawing when I was young, and I was pretty good at drawing, and that definitely helps. Like, drawing is never not going to help you in any sort of creative field. Understanding light and form and how to express yourself, express your ideas on paper is going to be important no matter what. But if you're doing geometric design in After Effects, it's not important at all. For frame-by-frame animation, it's a huge help unless you're doing really simple stuff, and even then it will help a lot, but it's not essential. If you can't draw, don't think that it's going to hold you back. It will certainly limit you to what you can do, but for the majority of commercial work, unless you're designing it, and unless that design involves, if that design is very geometric text and shapes, you'll be fine, and you'll find ways to animate things without drawing. But I would encourage everyone to start drawing, especially doing live drawing. I think is the best way to learn with a live model or or something in front of you. I think that's really good. We've also got another super chat from Gabby Jones. Thank you very much, Gabby. What do you recommend for what do you recommend for corporate motion designers struggling with making their work more creative and interesting? Oh, that's a big one. I think it's probably not talked about enough how much corporate motion design is actually going on behind the scenes, especially like the cool studios. I want to say that up until like last year, maybe a bit before, every single piece of work that I got paid to make was like a corporate job. And probably 10% of them I'd want to show the world, and the rest of them were hidden behind the scenes because they just weren't interesting. It was text coming up on screen. It was a lot of, I used to work at a video production company, so it was a lot of footage of, people looking at their phones, and I'd have to edit in what was on the phones, like day in, day out for years and years. And that's okay. Just know that I think people might get into the industry thinking that the work they see Buck and Giant Ant doing is the work, is, the majority of the work that's out there. But I think even those companies, those ones, even though I should finish my sentences, even those companies are doing a lot of corporate work behind the scenes. Definitely not as much as other ones are, but as small studios, the 99% of studios out there are making the majority of corporate boring work, corporate boring work that you probably don't want to, you know, show off in your portfolio. So to get more creative ideas, ideally, when that happened to me, I just kind of sort of separated. That kind of encouraged me to make my personal work a lot more creative, because I wasn't getting that creative output in my day job necessarily. So on my free time, I think, oh, well, now I'm going to make something that's completely off the rails, not restrained by, you know, a corporate identity or branding. So that really helped me. But I think, you know, try to separate it. If you're not getting that fulfillment in your job, you know, ideally you work towards somewhere where you are getting that, but know that it's a reality for a lot of people, and it was a reality for me for a long time. That's pretty much how everyone kind of starts out. So don't think that, you know, you're missing out really. All right, we've got a couple other excellent people giving super chats in the comments. I really appreciate it. From Surly, or Shruly Tyberg. Hello from Brooklyn. Hello from Brooklyn. Thank you very much. Hope things are doing okay in New York City. I can't wait to hopefully visit America, hopefully next year. We'll see how things go, but I'd love to visit America, especially New York. That'd be wonderful. I've got an excellent super chat from Alec, who's got an awesome question. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I really appreciate it. Recent design grad here. Thanks to you, I'm decent at Mograph now. Question is, how do I launch my career with no real projects? Well, thank you so much, Alec. So glad I could help. So glad I can help someone become a decent at Mograph. Well, getting new projects without, getting a job without no real projects. You've got to make them. You've got to make personal projects. You've got to have something to show a client of what you can make. Now, when you start, you're not going to have much. So put together a reel, make it short, make it 20 seconds if you have to, of just the work you make. Ideally, it's stuff not just copied from tutorials. You ideally take the techniques and apply them to your own designs. But my latest show reel, which I haven't updated in a while, I break one of the golden rules of show reels, is 80% personal work. And I think that's fine. No one that matters should really care if it's work, that who you made it for, whether it's yourself or someone else, as long as it shows your skills. But in order to get the job you want, you need to be able to do the work that job requires. No one is just going to trust you is going to hire you for work that you say you can make, but they have no evidence. You have to give them evidence. So I would say I'm scrolling down chat. Just create things that you would like to make. Create, I suppose, as many of them as you can. But to get a 20-second reel, do 4 or 5 second projects. Really, do longer projects. Do as much as you can, but slowly build that to be your minimum. And once you get that, you can maybe start shipping it out to clients. And then every couple of weeks, do a new project and keep adding onto that reel when you're starting until you've got a good 30 seconds that's nice and solid. You show the work that you want to make, and hopefully that can find your work. I hope that helps. We've also got Templo. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. What's your question? Hey Ben, thank you so much for putting the tutorials together. It's been very useful and entertaining. Hope you keep it up. Thank you, Templo. I will definitely be keeping it up. I've got some things to talk about in this stream about what I want to do next in the channel, which I absolutely want your input, but I'll definitely be keeping up the tutorials. Tutorials aren't going anywhere. Weekly uploads aren't going anywhere. So, you'll be seeing more of me. All right, let me have some. I'm gonna have a glass of water. My mouth is getting very dry. I'm double fisting, we call this in Australia. I've got my water and my morning tea. We've got Earl Grey here, ready for a exciting day. I haven't been up this early in a long time. Okay. Image is quite blurry. I'm sorry about that. This is kind of the best I can do. Hopefully this is good enough. Ruby Lucas, thank you for the super chat and the question. Currently, I make lyric videos with Premiere. I have a basic understanding of AE. How can I progress in motion design? Well, I think that's a great start, especially if you're making lyric videos in After Effects. If you're making lyric videos in Premiere, once you move into making those in After Effects, that's going to get so much easier. That's going to open up so many more possibilities to what you can actually make. There's lots of great animation tools in Premiere, and they're getting more and more every update. But getting into After Effects, it's a whole nother ball game. It's like going over the horizon. I remember I did a travel video of myself and my wife traveling to China a while back, and years and years ago. And I edited that whole thing in After Effects. It was a 5-minute video, and it's editing in After Effects is not the way to go. The next one I edited in Premiere, and I was like, this is great. It's almost as if this tool was designed for editing. So I'd say spend more time in After Effects. Try to make a lyric video in After Effects, and there'll be a hurdle because it's not the software you're used to using, and there'll be a bit of friction at the start. But once you get over that, you're going to have endless possibilities of what you can make. I hope that helps. We've got a couple more chats. Thank you. A couple more super chats. Thank you very much. Finn Garside, I really appreciate it. Can you recommend courses on YouTube so I can learn animation? Do you mean courses on YouTube, not like courses that are on YouTube, or do you mean just recommend courses out there? Because I'll do both. So I think, to be honest, all the big platforms offering courses are really good. I obviously have a course available, Motion Practice, which is available with Motion Design School, where I teach frame-by-frame animation and how to integrate that into an After Effects workflow to make it more Mography. It's sort of a beginner's guide to frame-by-frame animation, but sort of with intermediate After Effects stuff as well. But all the big ones, Motion Design School also have a bunch of other amazing courses. School of Motion are great too, Mograph Mentor, Skillshare. All of those places I think are great to get education. I'm not going to be, beholden to one platform. Get your education wherever you can to get access to as much as possible from the best artists out there. Awesome people doing like free stuff on YouTube. Obviously, I've been dabbling in Blender lately. Blender Guru has like essentially many courses worth of free content on his YouTube channel. And there's a channel called Tip Tut as well, which is really awesome. So check him out. He's putting out like essentially full courses for free on his YouTube as well. So definitely worth looking into him as well. Alex Francis, thank you so much for the super chat. How long was the process from moving from corporate world to freelance? Did it take long? How did you prepare? It took me, it didn't take me long, but there was a lot of preparing beforehand. Really, it was hearing Joey Corriman on, I believe it was The Future or an Animalators podcast, talking about his book, The Freelance Manifesto, and about that process. And he sort of broke down how you go about finding new clients in freelance, which was what was holding me back. Because when I was freelancing as an illustrator, I was very shy. I didn't want to sell myself. And that was the hardest part for me. I felt like I could do good work for people if they knew about me, but no one knew about me. So how do I get myself in front of people? And his book breaks down, The Freelance Manifesto is the book title, how to go about doing that, which I think is, was really valuable to me. And essentially, it took me 3 months, because I knew that in 3 months' time, the lease ended in my house. So I could find a new house where my wife and I could have a second bedroom, where I could have a home studio. And so I had and also find a place to get a little puppy so we could buy kimchi. Not that we knew that we'd be buying kimchi at that point. So I had 3 months to prepare. So in that 3 months, I sort of just went nuts with doing personal work to get my reel up to as good as possible. And yeah, that's how I took 3 months to prepare, saved up a good amount of buffer so I wouldn't be, homeless if I didn't get any freelance work. And that was it. But I think the preparation is always by that time I'd had almost 3 years of experience in the motion design industry. So I'd a little skills. So I definitely recommend, time in the corporate world. Working for a studio is definitely preferable before jumping into freelance, because it's a lot more riskier out there. And I think learning on someone else's dollar is more preferred. I hope that helps. All right, we've got another. No, Alex Francis, thank you again for the super chat. Love your work and videos. I appreciate that. Glad you could help. Danny Cook again. Danny, you just keep coming at it with the super chat. Thank you so much. Can you spend a little time on overcoming imposter syndrome? Sorry, you've got me talking fast. Imposter syndrome, man, it doesn't go away. I'm feeling it all the time. Like, I feel it almost every day. Especially, I look, when we got 300,000 subscribers, I'm like, oh my God, how does my channel have 300,000 subscribers? I just make some tutorials. And especially, seeing people give super chats, there's always things like, oh, I'm not worthy of people spending their time and money on me. I think we all think that. We all think our designs aren't good enough and our work isn't good enough. And because there is a gap. And I look up the video, The Gap by, what's her name, Ira Glass. And he talks about there's a gap between your taste and your skills, and that's always going to be there. You're always going to want to make work that's better than the stuff you can currently make, and that's good. That's a sign that you have, goals and an idea of what's gonna, what your work should be like. And I think really, just I don't really have the best advice. You've got to ignore it. Excuse me. I burp when I'm nervous. So just know that whatever you make, it's, worthy of people's time and attention and value. Everyone is on their own path. Everyone started a beginner. Everyone was crap. No one burst out of the womb being able to just kill it at the keyframes, just being able to nail animation. That didn't happen. Everyone went through a learning process. Some people might learn faster than others because they had a different set of skills going into it. I think I was very fortunate that I learned design and illustration before I learned animation, and so I was very lucky in that way. But where, you might seem like you're behind or your work isn't good enough, but trust me, it is. Everyone out there, your work is good enough, and if you think you should be in a different place, you'll get there in time. Now it's just not the time. It'll all be okay when it's over, and if it's not okay, it's not over yet. All right. Also, oh my god, we've got lots of super chats. Thank you so much. I want to make sure I don't miss any. From Emile Beck-Drellen. Hi there from France. Bonjour. I'm just curious, how many percentage of your work do you feel is not glamorous? What's a good ratio? Now I think, now most of my work is pretty much all for YouTube. So everything I make, you pretty much see, because there's no time for me to make anything else otherwise. But when I was in a job, 90% was not glamorous. Maybe even, there were some times where I'd go months and I'd not make anything interesting if you're on a big long project. The ratio, there's no good ratio. The ratio is what you're happy with. And, 100% non-glamorous work is fine too, as long as you're, if you want to, you're making steps, making moves to make the work you want to make. You don't have to be making it now, but have a plan that thinks, well, after this corporate job is done, I'm going to work on some more personal stuff. That's the best way. We're all struggling with it, and that's, I think, sadly just a part of the process that we all have to go through. And some people don't, and they're very lucky. Adam Farnsworth, thank you for the super chat. What's your process when starting a new project, such as sourcing inspiration, sketching out frames? Well, Adam, you have come just at the right time, because I've got a 2-part tutorial coming out next week. I think the first one comes out on Friday next week. All about that process, exactly how I, put together a mood board, find reference, find research, and they're long videos. And it's a 2-part about a Halloween animation. It's a Halloween spooktacular of collecting reference. And that's a video that I've made, and I've kind of wanted to make it for a while, but it's not a video that is gonna get the ton of the views because it's got a cool clickbait title and a thumbnail. It's how to collect reference and motion design. So if people see that, do me a favorite and watch it, give it a like, because I think that'll need it. Thank you so much again for the super chat. Rodrigo Colindres, amazing videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. You're very welcome. Dane Swerdling, thank you very much for the super chat. Did you have any part of the promos for I Can See Your Voice on Fox? I think of you every time I see it. No, I have never. I didn't have any part in that. I'll see if I can pull them up. I Can See Your Voice. Let's see if they might be using my grade. No, there's I get a lot of people asking. I Can See Your Voice. I get a lot of people asking if I made stuff that they see online, and no, it's not me. Especially there's a couple of Westpac ads in Australia, and one for another bank as well in Australia, and I did not make those. I had no part in those, but I think it's because, to be honest, my style kind of developed trying to mimic all the big top studios and sort of the house Mograph style, which is kind of what I teach mainly, because I think there's a lot of people wanting to learn those skills, but that's not a style that I don't have a monopoly on. It's very wide and out there. But no, I did not make these titles. They do look good though. You skipped Will's question, I think. Okay, sorry, Will. Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Sorry, Will. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, Will, thank you for the super chat. Sorry for skipping you. As a hobbyist and hopefully pro, she'll definitely be a pro. I struggle to focus on one area of design, graphics, motion, UX. Should a beginner be a specialist or a generalist? I think you should just explore and make the work that you want to make when you're starting. Maybe if you're wanting to get more work, try to limit that. You can limit yourself, try not to make that as esoteric as possible. Maybe, animation that's only focused on pottery spinning or very specific niche things. But honestly, follow your passions and make the stuff that you want to make. That's what's gotten me into the situation now where I, thankfully where I followed my instincts, where I learned a lot about digital painting, then graphic design, then illustration, then motion, like 2D motion graphics, and then more illustrative motion graphics and frame by frame work. And now that's led me to here. And if I'd have just focused on one thing, I think it is great to be a specialist. And sometimes I think of myself as a 2D animation specialist, but really that's a big generalist, broad range out there. I think anyone doing motion design, motion graphics is going to be a generalist by default, because we're going to need to edit, we're going to need to design, need to animate in some ways. So I think starting out, definitely get a sort of base of knowledge, and then if you can, if you figure out what you want and what you like the most, specialize in that. They call it being T-shaped. I think that's a kind of annoying tech buzz phrase that I don't really enjoy, but that means you're shaped like a T. So you have very sort of wide, narrow understanding of knowledge in certain areas, like, design, motion, editing, illustration, and then one very deep, specific knowledge in maybe, compositing or, frame by frame or something like that. But I'd encourage you to just make what you want to make. And if it interests you, follow it. It's probably there for a reason. The motivation to keep doing and learning is going to be the hardest thing. And if you can overcome that with an interest in it, that's really powerful. Thank you, Alex Robert. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. And Maya Pierre, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. It's simple. It's only 4 letters. I'm going to say Maya. Thank you so much. Love your channel so much. I struggle having my motion design not be super blurry on Insta. What's the best export format size sweet spot for you? Oh, I get this question a lot, especially on Instagram. People saying, how are your uploads so clear? I don't really do anything too special. I export using the default MP4 settings out of Adobe Media Encoder, or I use the same H.264 MP4 setting using Render Codex, which is a plugin I use in After Effects. But honestly, I render out the defaults in Media Encoder and hope for the best. I try not to have a lot of noise in my designs. I uploaded a bunch of stuff a while ago with a lot of noise, and it just looked awful. I don't really know what else to say. I do get this question a lot, so I thought about making a video about it, but it's really me just saying, I don't know. I just render out a Media Encoder and hope for the best. Sorry, I can't be of more help. All right, Yimbo Escarrega, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, excuse me. My God, I'm losing my voice already. It's only been, how long have we been streaming for? 30 minutes. Don't worry, guys. If my voice is completely broken by the end of this, I'll be answering your questions in sign language. What was the first project you went, I think I got something good here? Amazing channel, by the way. Thank you very much, Imbo. Oh, let me think. What was the first project? I think there was a couple of projects. In some sense, I think almost every project I was thinking, yeah, this is a good project. I nailed it here. But looking back on them, they weren't really that great. But I think having that positive feedback whenever you finish a project, I think when you finish a project, there's always a feeling of like, I wish we had more time, that could have been better. But also knowing that it's better than your previous work. So I'm happy there's something new to go in the reel that's going to be better than the other stuff. But I think, what was one thing? I think there was a project I did for the Australian of the Year Awards back in 2017, I think, maybe 2018. You can probably find it online, the Young Australian Year of the Award 2017, I think. No, it was the Local Hero Award for the... what was it called? The Martian Embassy, the Story Factory here in Sydney, in Redfern, actually, very nearby. It was an animation I made. It was mainly what I was really happy with, I did some stop motion. I filmed stop motion of a book opening and closing and turning pages, and I sort of comped in scenes into the pages in like a hand-drawn style, and that was really fun. That came out really well. It almost broke me. That was the time I had literally 2 all-nighters in one day, and never again. I vowed never to do an all-nighter ever again, especially not for someone else's money. Oh, excellent. We've got another question. Yeah, so that was, hang on, I've skipped ahead. That was one project that I was really proud of. If someone can find that, maybe link that in the chat. But if you search Local Hero Australian of the Year Awards, you'll be able to find that somewhere. It's, yeah, the one with the book in it. Dylan Casano, we've got an excellent question from him. I know Dylan Casano. We speak on Instagram. He's a great motion designer. Look up him. He's based in LA. He says, what is Goon? Goon, some of my viewers may know, is Australia's finest, cheapest wine. That was a personal project I made 2 years ago. That's definitely the personal project I'm sort of most proud of, because that was something that I wrote, sort of directed, scripted. I did it all myself, except for the voiceover and the music. But you can find that on my Vimeo. I will be uploading that to YouTube at some point. It did used to be on here before, but when I went to make tutorials, I took that off. But I will upload that at some point, and upload another video about the making of behind the scenes as well. But anyone in Australia knows what Goon is. It is a rite of passage here. It's just a big box. It's boxed wine. It's a big boxed wine, and it's so cheap. It's like $12 for like 10 liters. Can it be? No, 4 liters. It's not that much wine, but it's the best way. It's the cheapest way to get drunk if you're an Australian. All right, some other people. Oh, Tyson James, thank you so much for the super chat. How did you decide that your intro was a good representation of you as a designer? I struggle with personal brandings and would love some insight into this. Yeah, the intro, that took a long while. I made that intro before, I uploaded anything on YouTube, and that's something I wouldn't recommend to anyone else. Just, if you want to start YouTube, just start a YouTube. You don't need an intro. Like, if I didn't have an intro, no one would care. No one would say, where's your intro? Make an intro. That was something that I wanted to make to sort of, I suppose, validate me as a animator. So if people saw my work, they would think, oh, okay, even if he's not talking about something that's really well designed, his intro is well designed, so we should trust him. And I don't know if that helps. I get a lot of people really liking my intro, so I'm glad I put that time in. And it's definitely now the most viewed animation I've ever made and probably will ever make. So I'm glad I did put that time in. Yeah, personal branding, it's hard. I struggle with it too. It took a lot of time. I spent probably a couple of weeks designing and making that. And I suppose that's just, it's been years and years of me sort of finding my voice, and I don't really even think I'm nailing it now. There's so many things that I'm like, I don't think I represent me, my personality, or my artwork well enough online. And I think one of the things that I'm just gonna, like, the only way that I've gotten better at that over the years is just by doing more of it. And I think by making more videos, especially I think on live streams, I have so much fun on live streams where I think I can express more of my personality that maybe I don't in my tutorials, whether that happens in the edit or in the scripting, or even in the design of my work. I used to think when I design work, I kind of hold myself back, even on personal work, thinking like, oh, the client won't like this. Even the client's me. Like there'd be some restraints like, no, I should design it like this. It'll be easier to execute. But I think separating the design and animation process is one thing that really helps me, that I try to do as much as possible now. So I'm not thinking about how am I going to animate this too much when I'm designing. I'm just like, how do I make the best design possible? And then later when I'm animating, thinking, oh God, how am I going to animate this? And then finding a solution and having to sort of break new ground and progress my skills a little bit in the process. So I hope that helps, but yeah, it's a struggle. Definitely, maybe ask people that you know, that know you well, and maybe who are designers or aren't designers, what they think your brand is, like what you represented visually is to them. Because you might have your idea of like, oh, I'm into this and I do this thing, but everyone you work with might think, no, you're heaps funny, do heaps of funny stuff, or do heaps of really slick stuff. That's the stuff you're best at. And get external advice, because what we think about ourselves is often not a clear representation. We tend to get what's portfolio dysmorphia. That's a $5 word for you. All right, I've got Raul LZ Motion. Thank you for the super chat. Work-life balance is very hard with any creative work. How do you manage your work-life balance? Poorly. Um, I actually think I do okay. Well, it's certainly a lot better than I did before when I was working full time. But we all struggle with it. Lately, I think having sort of now, I think it's okay. I've started about eight sentences there. So let me get back to the first one. I think setting up clear boundaries about starting work at a certain time and ending it at a certain time, especially when you work for yourself and there's always more work you could be doing. There's always more things you could be learning, more personal work you could be making. Now I say at 5 o'clock is what I aim for. Normally between 5 and 6 when I finish my last thing of the day on my to-do list. I'm done. I'm finished work, and that's what I'm done. That's you get no more work out of me, so that hopefully I can build some mental space before I come back into work the next day. That doesn't always happen. There's always something running in the back of my mind about video ideas and things like that, and I think that's normal and natural, especially if you're passionate about what you do. Not that I think you need to be thinking about your work all the time to be a valid artist at all. Like I envy people that can shut off completely and go about other activities, but that's not me right now. But yeah, I think finding space, like all the things that I don't do that I know I should be doing are probably great, like having more exercise and meditating and doing a daily journal, that sort of stuff. But hey, just try every day to get better at it. I know that there are going to be times in your life when you do have to put more work into your work and less into your personal life and relationships. If you look up, there's I can't remember the name of it. It's like the bulb theory, something where you have 3 light bulbs of like your career, your personal relationships, and social life, I think, or personal life. And in order to turn one up higher, you have to turn the others down. I think be aware of that. Certainly this year, I focused more on my career, less on my social life, because it's been harder to see people, as you might guess, if you've been living on the planet Earth this year. But know that you're gonna have to make sacrifices, and to do one thing, you have to stop doing something else. And if that's what you want to be doing, know that that's what you're making. And if you want to change that, just know that you probably are in more control of it than you think. I hope that helps. Thank you very much. We've got Mr. Flavor Fuel. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. When to save a preset and when to go from scratch? Should I build a library or just go? Small contribute from your hard work project files. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying the project files, by the way. If anyone wants to go on my Gumroad, it's probably linked in all of my tutorial videos, and you can download all my project files all at once from the previous from all my previous tutorials if you want as well. I'd say most of the time to go from scratch. I have like a preset for my folder structure where you can download that on Gumtree, which just has a project file with all the folders that I need for After Effects. It's got my assets folders for my imports, audio, images. I don't use them all in every project, but it's a good base to start. Those things can save you time, are great. But normally if you're doing custom animation for a client or something, start from scratch, because you will find yourself being limited by a template if you use something. If it's just for a corporate client, you have the same client and you've got to make the same promo every week, except change what football team's playing. You make a template for that. But if it's a new client and it's a new project, start from scratch, because I think it'll take you, it might take you a few extra minutes to set up the basic keyframes of the motion you want, but it will lead you to experiment more, get into the graph editor and make a unique animation. You're not gonna progress making the same animation every single week, if that helps, if that makes sense. But thank you for the super chat. Oh, my tea is getting cold. I haven't had enough chance to drink my Earl Grey. Leo, I'm going to say Marseille, but I know it's almost certainly not like Marseille. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Amazing live stream by far. Although we're not talking enough about that beautiful conditioned hair. I agree. No one has mentioned this nearly enough. It's almost as if it's not half of the comments that I get on all my videos now, that I'm looking more and more like Benjamin Franklin or some founding father every day, or that I look like David Dobrik or something like that. Yeah, the last time I had a haircut was almost 12 years ago. 12 months ago, not 12 years ago. I wish. In November, because I was planning on getting a haircut before I did my course promo at the beginning of this year. And then I thought, nah, it's fine. And then after that, lockdown happened. I thought, there's no reason to get a haircut now. I didn't have any videos that needed me to be on camera for a while, so I just didn't do it. And then now it's almost, I want to say it's past the bad hair phase where it was just all over the place, looking all weird and wavy in the wrong directions. But I'm going to rock it until at least January. So as long as it gets before January, before I make the promo for my next course, which I've been working on a lot. My next course is going to be it's either going to be called Master Motion Design or Master After Effects. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interesting, which is be really just advanced After Effects course. Pretty much everything I know about making animation at sort of the toppest level. Excuse me. That is, stuff that if I mentioned it in a tutorial, I'd have to give an hour of a backstory of like how to get to that point of required knowledge. So yeah, course coming out next year. You can sign up to my newsletter on my website to get more updates on that. But let me know as well what other courses you'd like me to make, because I really like making longer form stuff. Catherine Bell, thank you so much. Catherine Ball, sorry. Pardon me. Forgive me, Catherine. Forgive me. Love your work. Thank you. Would you ever offer mentoring to animation noobs? I have thought about it, and I think, to be honest, there's just, I'd much prefer doing tutorials and sort of streams like this where I communicate you in this way, where it's, one-to-many, where I can communicate with lots of people all at once. Now with mentoring, obviously you get a deeper sort of, understanding, and I get to give more personal feedback, which I do, want to do more of, but just, I'm afraid there's not enough time and for me to do the things that I want to do. I think it's better for me at the moment to do that to more people. I do think about maybe in the future having sort of a mentoring group where, people might sign up for a month and, sign up, subscribe monthly, and they get access to a private group or something where we all chat, and I'm on live streaming with a small amount of people. It's something I've thought about, and I do think about often, but not right now, and probably not in the next 12 months, I'm afraid. But thank you for your interest. And I'd encourage, try to assume, I am your mentor. Just, I can't give you personal feedback all the time. Just anyone that's on YouTube or giving away advice online is your mentor, and you can soak up all of their knowledge without getting and having to be personally about. Assume any critique that someone gives about someone else's work is about your work, and hopefully that might help. All right. Oh, we've got a lot of super chats. All right. I'm sorry, I'm spending too long on these questions. Cyril Sways, thank you so much for your super chat. How do you avoid procrastination? What motivates you to stay focused? Deadlines. Deadlines motivate me to stay focused. If I didn't have a weekly self-imposed deadline of uploading every Thursday on YouTube, I would have uploaded 10 videos instead of 100. Honestly, that's the biggest factor. I think, and also motivation, I think, is the wrong thing to look for, because you won't always have motivation. There'll be projects that don't motivate you. Self-discipline is a better skill to cultivate, because if you have enough self-discipline to work on things that you're not interested in working on, that will serve you in whether the project's good, whether the project's bad, whether you want to work on it or not. That means the project will get done. And so, cultivating self-discipline, because motivation is fleeting. It's fleeting, as they say. So, deadline. Set yourself up deadlines and say, well, I will do this at this date, so you have actionable things to do. And don't set deadlines too far off in the future. And if you are working on bigger projects, chunk it up, compartmentalize it. Another $5 word for you. That's maybe a $3.50 word. That's a pretty common word. So you have smaller deadlines, like every week you have a deadline of something that you need to hit. So you've got an actionable steps to take. That's how I get almost everything done, lots of lists. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, all these are coming thick and fast. Okay, Lynn Ulfrecht, thank you very much. Someone from the European Union, give me the euros. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the super chats, guys. I did not expect this many, so thank you so much. You're gonna find me a lot of Earl Grey after this. Love your videos so much. They always make my day. Thank you. Oh, well, you're very welcome. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so awesome to hear. Thank you. Andrew Marston, thank you so much. After watching a lot of your videos, I think we're all wondering the same thing. How many grey shirts do you own? I own One, this is the same shirt I've worn every single time in any of my videos, every one of my live stream appearances. And I did this because it's because I like to have a uniform. Everyone else that knows me knows that I only wear black shirts and black jeans everywhere I go because it's just something I don't have to think about every morning. But I have my specific charcoal grey shirt that I wear for videos, just so I don't get in the trap of I need to change my shirt. Like if I record 3 videos in one day, that I'm not changing shirts, so it looks like I'm recording them on different days. Like, nah, embrace it. I just wear the same shirt all the time. You know, it's my goal to get like a pair of like 10 10 of these shirts when they go on sale. But thank you for paying attention. All right, thank you for the super chat from What You Want Me to Be. Thank you. How do you start motion design, and what were the highlights that brought you to your actual point? Congrats and thanks a lot for all the vids. You're very welcome. I think starting a motion design, just make stuff. Really, that's how I started. I did design and illustration beforehand, so I just had a lot of artwork that I'd made that I just thought, well, if I add motion to these, it's more interesting. There's a bit more magic to it. It might make you stand out from your peers in that sense, but mainly it's just fun to make things and to say, hey, I made this thing that moves. And my friend at the time was like, what? Things can move? I thought only Pixar made things move, even though they were very crap at the time. But yeah, just start making stuff. Really start making stuff that you want to make. Probably the things that you like, probably things like that Buck and Giant Ant and Gunner and all the top studios are doing. It's going to take a long while to get to that level, and know that those projects, take a look at the credits of all of the projects that you'd love and want to make. There will be 40 animators and designers on there that probably work for 6 months on it. So don't compare yourself to what a whole team of the top end animators are doing. Just make something that you want to make and slowly do, a project every few weeks or so and just improve on it. Learn something new over those times. And over, it was 3 years until I made animation that I put out that was probably, I'd say it was, good up to, a point where I'm really happy to share it online. So it takes years, but if you make that small incremental progress over many years, you're going to get somewhere good. Like, if you're in your 20s, you've probably got another 40 years of creative career at least. So if you've got 40 years of making slight increments, getting 1% better every year, you're going to be in a very good place. Don't rush it. Thank you, Andy T, for another super chat. Thank you. Which other programs do you highly recommend as well as After Effects? Are you proficient in After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator? What next? Yeah, definitely Photoshop and Illustrator are my next 2 softwares which I'm most proficient at. What next? I'd say frame by frame maybe is what I'm most proficient at next. I like frame by frame in Photoshop the most, but Animate is really great too. Rough Animator on the iPad is what I'd also recommend. To be honest, most of the frame-by-frame softwares are all the same. Like, really. I know that might be a hot take, but it doesn't matter what you use. It's the principles. All you need to do is make a frame and see onion skins. Some interfaces are better. Like, I know TV Paint would be the best because I see awesome people like my mate Will Peach is just making crazy stuff on TV Paint, and it looks really great. And Aaron Blaze rocks that all the time, but it's like $1,000. And part of me thinks that if I'm using TV Paint in a video, people are going to think they need $1,000 software to make stuff, which I don't think so. Also, another thing that I do want to say is I haven't switched over to my different views. This is the view that I record all my tutorials in my layout. But this is my recording tutorial, and in my tutorials, I kind of just, I want After Effects to look as less intimidating as possible. So this is just the default view with like the effects control pulled out. I don't have any plugins visible because you don't need them. I don't want people to think they need lots of plugins when they start learning After Effects. Although I think, hey, plugins are really useful. I'm not saying I don't use any plugins because I do. I'll show you this is my personal workspace that I use. So it has a lot more plugins. I've got labels down here. I've got Motion V2 and Flow and Ease Copy. Those are things that I use the most. I got sidetracked. The question was about other software that wasn't After Effects. So I'm going to switch back. But yeah, what next? Whatever interests you. If you want to get into 3D, maybe something like Cinema 4D, Blender. But yeah, I mainly focus on those Adobe Suite ones because more people have them. A lot more of my audience has access to them. So that's what I think is going to be, let me pull the chat. Hang on. I could pull the chat on. Oh my God, my chat. Into the front monitor. That's easier for me to see. So, sorry. that even answer your question at all. If you're proficient in After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, what next? I think if you're proficient in those, if you want to learn frame by frame, learn any frame by frame software. If you want to learn 3D, Blender or Cinema 4D, but I'm not the best person to ask. Leo, you've asked a question again as well. Oh, what do you do in your spare time to entertain yourself? Lately, I've been fiercely playing Baldur's Gate 3. Are you into gaming at all? Yes, I'm into gaming. I recently, I just secured my pre-order for PlayStation 5, which I'm stoked about, even though it's going to be a week before Cyberpunk comes out, where I'm going to be playing Bugsnax. That's how I unwind. I have a pretty sort of plebby taste in games, I guess. I don't have any unique recommendations. I love Giant Bomb. I pretty much listen to that podcast, the Giant Beast Cast weekly, and hit up any recommendations they have. But games I've loved are recently. What have I played? Playing The Witness recently. That's very relaxing. And what's it called? Into the Void, into the breach, not Into the Void. That's a really fun game. I love that. I like that. That game's good. Lately, I bought some Warhammer a couple of weeks ago to paint some miniatures, because that was something I've been thinking about, because I did that when I was a teenager, and it's so nerdy, and I'm kind of embarrassed to even share it on my stories. But I spent like a few $100 to sort of relive my childhood. And so far I've gotten, dozens and dozens of hours out of it. So I think a good return of investment, I guess, because I was trying to look for activities, hobbies that didn't involve me looking at a screen. So yeah, I enjoy painting miniatures at the moment. I find fun, and reading. I'm reading the Gentleman Bastard series at the moment. I'm 15% through Red Skies Over Red Seas, which is awesome. Lies of Loch Lamora was an awesome book. Got lots of recommendations for that, so that was awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, people liking The Witness. People shout. Oh, okay, it's Dylan. It's all Dylan Casano shouting at Bugsnax. So thank you. We've got. Oh, someone else just started Lies of Loch Lamora. It's great. Every time I read a book, I'm like, oh my God, books are great. Why don't they make this a series? I'm like, they don't need to. In a book, you've got unlimited budget. You can have the biggest, the best effects and everything in there. Thank you everyone for joining the chat. Where are we at now? 7:50. I can chat for a bit longer. Guys, keep hitting me with the questions. Oh, first, okay, I'm going to ask you some questions first. I have I've got a list here. I'm thinking of starting a Discord server or a Slack server for, the channel community, everyone out there in the chat, anyone that watches the videos. So, we can discuss amongst ourselves, questions about the animation industry, people that have questions, because I can't get to all the comments on all the videos all the time. But I think if we have like a Discord chat, I'll be able to, I'll be in there regularly, but you'll be able to talk with yourselves, and I suppose just find a like-minded community, that people that are learning animation together and want to speak together. So yeah, if people are interested in that, let me know. And please, what would really help me is if you just spam the chat with either the word Discord or the word Slack, because I'm not sure which one to make. I know Slack is more, probably more people in motion design use for work, but I don't know, everyone's using Discord servers these days, and I don't know which people prefer. What have we got down there? Well, it looks like Discord has a huge lead at the moment. Okay, so I'm making a Discord. I'll probably make that over the next couple of weeks, I guess. So awesome, great. And I suppose I can have custom emotes on anything as well. Excellent. And also another thing that I want to get your input on is I really enjoyed like this stream and streaming in the past, and it's been months since I've done it. So I was thinking about doing streaming a lot more, and I was wondering if you guys would be into that. I'm thinking of probably starting a Twitch channel, because I want to be able to stream stuff that is a bit more esoteric, and that I don't want sort of clogging up my YouTube feed. So would you guys be into that if I made a Twitch stream where I, streamed probably at least once a week, just taking questions and chatting, and probably like other stuff, me making some of my work, maybe for tutorials or making designs, but also just maybe playing a game every now and then or something unrelated. And I think Twitch is probably the better place to do that rather than YouTube. So would you guys be into Twitch? Because I really want to have more contact with you guys, more, because I like talking to you and more of the community and, getting involved that way. So if you guys are into that, let me know. That probably won't happen right away because I've got a very busy couple of weeks coming up. The rest of October is going to be pretty pretty intense. And then November, I've got lots of relaxing plans, so I'll be busy then. But hopefully, definitely next year, I'm going to be doing that. Oh, Leo, Mosaic says, what do you think about making a Patreon page? I've thought about that a lot, and that's something that I do go back and forth on. To be honest, at the moment, I think if I was to make a Patreon page, I do want, if people are like paying me regularly, I'd want people to provide extra stuff for Patreon. I want to be able to give people so they feel like they're getting their, $2, $5 worth every month. And at the moment, I would rather, to be honest, I'd rather spend that time making stuff for everyone that's not behind a paywall. I think that's better for the community at large, and also even better for me for growing my audience, where, making stuff to share with a small amount of people, even if they're paying, I'd rather just make something on YouTube that everyone can see. But I really appreciate it. I get a lot of people saying they would support me with Patreon, and thank you so much. And maybe I'll do that in the future. But I think everyone's supporting me with the super chats. I can't thank you guys enough. That I really appreciate that. That really helps. Yeah, thank you so much. I know that's all of your hard-earned money that you could be putting somewhere else into other software or other subscriptions. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And know that you don't have to do that. I will. I don't expect it. I don't expect it of anyone, of course. That's why I'm giving out free tutorials, because I think that's the best way for people to learn and make things as accessible for as many people as possible. Thank you very much. Do you have any free chat where you can write a question? Sorry, I don't think I understand. All right, not going to give anyone shout outs. Sorry, people like Twitch. Okay, great. Awesome. I haven't. Okay, other questions. Stream more. Okay, well, thank you, Uncle. We got someone likes my likes my smile. Thank you very much. Kobe says, "Would you do design review on Twitch?" Yeah, if I was on Twitch, I'd be doing anything at all. And I kind of think that'd be a bit more freeing, so I could do more experiments with the kind of content I make, which I'm really kind of excited for. But I need to do some more research and take the time to set things up so the channel, I suppose, looks nice, I guess. But yeah, I've been liking a lot of Twitch content recently. Anthony Harrison, thank you for the super chat. Would like to see you make a vid about the talent on anytask.com. It's like Fiverr, but with no seller fees for unbanked people in developing countries. I haven't heard of anytask.com. That sounds like it could be a good thing, especially for people in developing countries, if they can get a step up and, find international clients. I will look into it. But thank you very much. And anyone hit me up with any recommendations of videos, what to make, those in the chat. I will be reading through this chat later. If I miss any of your comments, and any comments on any video, I tend to read them all. Even if I don't respond to any of your comments, I see most of them. All right. One other thing that I did want to mention. Okay, the community has grown way bigger than I thought possible in this time frame, and I'm really stoked. But I think we need a name. We need a name for the community, for my audience, like people. I can't think of many good examples, except for I know James Charles calls his fans little sisters, and Ellie Goulding calls her fans the gold diggers. I looked it up. I looked up a big Wikipedia list of what people call their fans, so I don't know. Sorry, my examples were both people that I don't really have much interest in, or I'm certainly not part of that community. Oh, okay, Matthew Ramos. No, I'm not going to tell you about my wig. This is real. This is pure, straight out of my follicles. Don't be playing me with that. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Mariachi band. I love that. Okay. Oh, the Ben Hive. The Mograph monsters. Oh, I love these suggestions. These are great. Marion Maids. The Rioters. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, I like the Rioters. Mariachi band. Something about bats. I did think something about bats. Yeah, but I couldn't think of anything. All like labelers, because we label our layers. But the labelers or the layers, but I think that's too, ideally it's something that has my name or a bat in it would be great. The Marriott Hotel, Knights of Marriott, Mograph family, Mograph homosexuals. That's great. Oh, we should call them Marriottes. Thank you, Leo Messi. You've been so generous with the super chats. Leo Messi. Everyone go look him up. He seems like he's a top dude. So he deserves more shout outs. Kim Chiefs. That's awesome. Thank you, Edward. Ben Merrick Fan Club. Keyframe Heroes. Or any book recommendations for motion design. I've said this twice in the stream already. Freelance Manifesto is great. Animator's Survival Guide. Even though it's about traditional 2D, traditional frame-by-frame animation, lots of helpful tips about just animation in general. What up, Ben? I love Marriott Hotel, motion marionettes, Ben's Marauders, the Merry Marriott, a group of bats is called the Cauldron. That's pretty good. The Cauldron. Men Marriott, very good. Ben and the Bat Droppings. I love it. The Bat Droppings. Bats with benefits. Excellent. Marionettes. People. Yeah, Marriott and motion. It's similar, but it's no way we can make it work. I don't think. Guanomators. That's excellent. That takes. I think everyone learned that phrase from Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which is my favorite movie when I was 9 years old. Named Layers Club, Layer Named Squad. Guanomators is great. Benevolence. Is this all inside a bat's butt? Yes. When you first watched the first video you watched of mine, you entered the bat's butt and you've been in there ever since. And if you've gone into the bat butts again, it's just bat butts all the way down, I'm afraid. The Barriots, the Batman, that's good. Cauldron. I like Cauldron. Cauldron works. It's very, it's something you would have to know about before. Like, that's a very in-joke. But I kind of think that's the point, right? It's the point to be something like that. Ben Boys, Trippy Cauldron. Do you have an undergraduate or master's? I have an undergraduate bachelor's in design from UNSW, art and design. It's called COFA at the time. But if you're in America, don't go to art school. It's too expensive. Unless you can afford it. Even in Australia, like I think it's great. Go to university, do an arts degree. It really helped me. I had it mainly for social reasons. It was a really great experience. But if it's going to put you $200,000 in debt, no, don't do that. If you're in Europe where it's really cheap, Australia, it's cheap, but the quality is going really down a lot. And they have a good debt system. But yeah, don't feel as though you need to. Especially technical skills, you can learn almost anything from. If you spend the money, you're going to go to university, and you could probably buy every single course online ever made about motion design, which will help you. Anyway, I got distracted. Okay, Marriott Bros, Batlanders. That's good. Ben and the Gents. Betty and the excellent Mega Bats, Fruit Bats. A bachelor's in design. Okay, Dylan, you're working overtime. You need to with things in the chat. Adam Loomis wins. Bats with benefits. That's sick. Andrew Loomis. Adam Loomis. Excellent. Yeah, people saying don't go into debt. Maybe you can go to a bit of debt for your education. Not much. Certainly not the numbers at art degrees. Because the salaries of graduates isn't anywhere near the amount to justify that. Lawyer, doctor, I can understand, but yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars for an art degree. Don't do it. Unless if you're crazy rich, do whatever you want. Go for it. Super Mario Smash Bros. Excellent. I don't have any class on Udemy or Skillshare. Nope, it's all on YouTube for free. And also, it's all for free, or if you pay for it. I have a course in the motion design school called Motion Practice, where I teach frame by frame. It's a very good course. And look, you didn't hear it from me, but Black Friday is coming up, so think about it. Think about it. Bat-hole surfers. Oh, I love bat-hole surfers. I'm going to come through this chat. I'm going to make a lot of sense. Bat-hole surfers, Guanomators, Cauldron, I think are my favorites so far. Hi from Dominican Republic. Hello, David. Thank you very much. What's my favorite time of the day? Oh, I love 6 a.m. I love to get up at 6 a.m. where there's no one about, or earlier. I don't do it often because I'm very lazy, but I like it when I do. Also, because if I'm up at 6 a.m., it means I'm motivated to do something that day. And normally by myself, but so that's a good time of the day. Okay, I've been live streaming for an hour. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit longer, but let's just keep. We can go a bit. Let's consider this. the after party. This is the up late where, you know, we can talk a little bit blue. No, not. I'm not going to say mention anything blue, but we can do a more relaxed talk about non-Mograph stuff. I'll still answer industry questions if you want, but I'm just going to be answering lots of sort of rapid fire, silly questions and speaking to as many of you as possible. Been there, done that. That's great. Hi from Kazakhstan. Oh, mate. Awesome. This is great. Cauldron of Guanimators. That's good as well. Best from Venezuela. The wall is ending. Okay, well, the chats are coming fast. Okay, dream projects. Dream projects for the future. Oh, this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, do I want to have something? Because I don't have so many. Because my goal was to have a successful YouTube channel, and that's kind of happened over 18 months, which is like happened really fast. So I'm trying to think of things. Where do I set my goals next? I definitely want to continue doing Project Manticore. I am working on the next one at the moment. I'm working on the brief. So I want to continue doing that every year and hopefully get that bigger and bigger and bigger and more ambitious, and hopefully, convince someone to sponsor it, essentially like a big company to just throw a ton of money at it. So then I can just, splash out, lots of money to all my friends, and we can just make something really fun on our own terms. So that's the 10-year goal for that. But yeah, that's I don't have really much too much else. Community Exquisite Corpse. That's a great idea, Adam Loomis. Adam Loomis. He's using his noodle. Yeah, that's definitely something you could probably organize in the Discord. That could be fun. Where is your course? Motiondesign.school. If you search Ben Marriott course, you can probably find it. It's called Motion Practice. Someone's saying how to work for buck a lot in the chat. Be very good at what you do. Be a very good designer and or animator, and send your reel to the producers at Buck, and or make the people at Buck know who you are. Know that Buck get hundreds of emails every single day of people to work for them. And I've got, I've had rejection letters from job positions at Buck years and years ago, and when I wasn't ready, and I've been lucky to work for them a lot lately, so that's been great. But get very good, and then send your reel to the website. Really, that's all you can do, and just make more. Don't like put all your eggs in one basket of wanting to work for Buck. Like Buck are great. If I could only work for one studio, it would be Buck Sydney, because they are amazing, but. There are tons of other great studios, and there's only a small percentage of people in the motion design industry that can work for Buck, and you can have a thrilling, thriving career elsewhere as well. Don't feel as though you haven't made it if you're not working for Buck at all, because the work, even at Buck, they go in the morning, they animate, they go home at night. It's not like not Willy Wonka's chocolate factory in there. It's a very cool animation studio. It's not gonna, it won't fill that void inside your heart, because I hoped it would and it didn't. Hi from Kenya again. Mate, this is excellent. Okay, what's some other questions? Okay. Stop spamming your plugin in the chat. I don't know if it's yours, but don't appreciate spam. Unless it's spam I request for. Mograph text tips to suggest. Oh, I'm actually doing a text motion design text tutorial soon as well. So I'll be working on, that should hopefully be coming out end of October, beginning of December. I'm thinking of doing 5 either essential text techniques for the 5 techniques that you're going to be using day in, day out, probably making corporate animations and things like that, or maybe some more really trippy, interesting, esoteric text techniques. But yeah, text animation I'm going to cover soon, but probably not text animators, because text animators are really hard and confusing, and I've used them twice in my whole career. I think they're overrated. Okay, kinetic type tutorial. Mate, this is not 2009. We're not doing kinetic type. No. You can maybe do kinetic type. I think it might be making a comeback. But I remember that was the first thing I animated in After Effects. It was an animation. It was sort of kinetic type animation I did for I Am the Walrus and one for Common People by Pulp. It was only a 10-second clip, but I think it was on my old YouTube channel. I tried to look. You can't find it now anymore, though. Excuse me. Someone says Project Manticore, but with viewer submissions. That would be cool. Yes, that would be cool. I do want to do something like that. But The problem is the scale. Even putting 60 people's work, communicating with 60 people on the last project was a nightmare, and I'm going to do that a lot differently this time. But if I open up with user submissions, I need to figure out a way where I can, handle hundreds, if not thousands of people submitting work, and because I don't want to turn anyone down. That's not great. I don't feel good about that. I thought about doing one where it's one frame, everyone designs a frame, part of a big sequence of animation, but also that might lower the scope of people that would want to be involved with the project like that, because they're only one part of a tiny thing, and you don't get. What I like about the project manager I did now is that every person gets their time to shine, and they get shout outs, and I want to make proper incentives for people to come on the project. But the more people I open that up to is there's a problem scaling it at the moment, and I don't have a solution for that. But I'm going to be doing one every year, so there will be. And I will be experimenting with formats as well. So we're going to get to that every time with that. Okay, someone's asked, are you married? Yes, I am married. And an anniversary, second anniversary is coming up in November. So I'm very much looking forward to that. You make projects 24 frames per second or 30? I make 24 mainly. 25 is a standard in Australia. Make whatever's the standard in your country. But I normally chuck a 12 frame FPS post-rise time on anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Your frame rate doesn't really matter that much. The difference between 24 and 30 is not much. The difference between 12 and 60 is a lot, but make whatever the specs are and animate on 2s if you think it's necessary. But yeah, 59.54. That's the best one to go for. All right. Well, how old am I? That's a very personal question. I'm 29. I will be 30 in May next year. I know I look a lot younger than I feel. Yeah, I'm 29. I know I could pass as 17, but hey, that's the benefit. Know that I haven't just popped out of high school and and I've had this much experience animating. It's what day in May? It's the 2nd. It's the 2nd. But don't send me a cake, please. It's buy yourself a cake. But thank you. Yes, I look 18. I know. My Pierre is gonna be 30 next year too. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm kind of excited and nervous about 30. Well, I don't know. I don't really care too much. I'm kind of. I don't know. Yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, should I be worried that I'm 30? I don't know. Oh, we're getting 2 cakes from Mr. Dylan. Thank you so much. Tip for one, starting to freelance. Buy the Freelance Manifesto book. It's the best investment you can make. Be prepared to have a lot of downtime. Have personal projects to work in that downtime. So to work on in that downtime. So when you don't have work coming in, you're making stuff for your portfolio. And just know going in that the jump to freelance from especially a salaried position, you don't have, they don't cover your tax, they don't pay your tax, they don't pay your super, you don't get sick leave, you don't get paid annual leave at all. So know that you're going to have to contribute that. So save, 20-30% for tax, whatever tax is in your country, 50-60% if you're in Belgium, or I don't know. I know there's some countries with crazy tax rates, the name of the freelance book is The Freelance Manifesto by Joey Corriman, who is the founder of School of Motion. Awesome book. I'm going to do a top 5 books for motion designers at some point. But I can think of 4 really good books that I'm really confident in. But that 5th place, I'm like, who's gonna get it? So recommend any books as well. I'll probably in the Discord that'll start up soon. I'll probably make some questions about that. Okay, ever get stuck for ideas? Yes, all the time. I go in, like in freelancing, there's feast and famine period. There's some time where I'll get really motivated. I'll do one drawing session and I'll get 12 ideas out that cover me making illustrations and projects for months and months. And then there's some moments where I'm like, I can't think of anything. I can't think of a single thing that's interesting or fun to make. And those times you just got to sit down and make something anyway. And that's all you can do. Okay, no. Don't be spamming in the chat. That's not how you get my attention. Okay. Have you gotten your wisdom teeth out? This is what I want. Really? Good question. No. Nope. Still got my original chompers in, baby. I'm interested to see. Yeah. I don't know, like they've not been giving me any issues, so no need to get them out right away. I'm curious. I've never been put under by the dentist. I've never had laughing gas, so I'm curious about that. That's my only interest in getting my wisdom teeth out. Like, that'd be interesting. How long have you been growing your hair? Since November last year. I did have it longer than this when I was at uni, so probably an extra couple of inches. So I'm going to grow it out till probably January. Do you know Elliot is a cool guy? No, I don't. He's also from Sydney. No, I'll try to look him up on Instagram. He's an animator. Best practices for growing a creative YouTube channel. Okay. Growing YouTube channel has been my, probably biggest interest of the last few years. And there's so few people I get to talk about it with because, not many people have YouTube channels. Consistency. Like, I haven't missed a single upload since I started. You don't need to go weekly like I do, but a schedule really helps because I know, if I would have uploaded, like if you've got 8 videos that you've made or that you have the time to make, it's better to release one of them every 2 weeks than 4 in 1 week and then a big gap and then something else. You want to be able to be a consistent thing in someone's feed to make sure you're more relevant to them, I guess, and just make the best content that you can possibly make as consistently as you can, and emphasis on the as you can. Don't burn yourself out because you're just gonna crash and burn. Yeah, that's when you release a lot of videos and then none because it's too much work. Find a pace that works for you. And once a week works for me. Oh, also, okay, that brings me to probably the biggest announcement that I didn't announce. I've announced it elsewhere, but I'm speaking at Adobe Max next week, and that is all about growing an audience online as a creative. Well, I talk about going on YouTube and Instagram and those things. I mainly talk about the principles that affect whatever platform you're on. So it's not super specific to YouTube or Instagram. If you don't particularly want to start a YouTube channel or grow an Instagram following, it's all about, and it's split into 2 parts. How, the best practices, what I found to work, and then also how to deal with, I suppose, I don't want to say the mental health side of things, but the struggles of, how to do that while staying sane. So yeah, Adobe Max, it is free to register. It's usually $1,000 for a ticket, and they've got ridiculous speakers this year. When you go through the speakers, there's Wes Anderson's there, Taika Waititi, Common. We've got Offset from Migos. I'm excited to see what he's talking about. He better be given the best Premiere tips out there with ad libs. There's so many ridiculous speakers on there. So sign up to Adobe Max. Register for my session. You just have to go in and register. I think you don't need to pay anything. I think you just need to sign up for an Adobe account if you don't have an Adobe account anyway. I'm assuming if you're following my channel, you probably have an Adobe account because you use Adobe software. Check me out on Adobe Max. It's going to be really fun. There's loads of great people on there. I know a bunch of people from School of Motion are on there. Sarah Beth Morgan, Noel Holling, Joe Corman, Kyle as well, Kylosaurus, Carl T. Webster as well, Brush Lord. He's doing speak there. Chris Doe, Gary Vaynerchuk. Hey, there's awesome folks on there. Okay, how much do you charge? How much should a beginning motion graphics charge? It depends on what, suppose, the day rate is in your area. When I started freelancing, it was 600 Australian dollars, and that went up to about, like 700, I think, when I last left. But, I think in 500 and 700 is about the day rate standard in Australia. If you're a super beginner, maybe 400, 450, but like I'd aim higher. In the US, I think it's about the same. UK, I think it's probably a bit low. Like US, it's just the same, but in US dollars, so which is great over there. Canada, I think is the same, maybe a tiny bit less, and UK is, I think, less. I know lots of people complain about the rates in the UK. Charge what you're worth and charge as much as you can. But yeah, those are the day rates. The Freelance Manifesto is a great book that'll lay things out for you, and you realize, people are actually making decent money freelancing. But no one, I say, if you have a $500 day rate, the first thing you do is $500 times 365. No. That's not your yearly wage. Because you're only going to be working, half, 2/3 of the time of the year. And then you're not paying tax, you're not paying your super, your 401k, you're not paying, if you're in a country where you need to pay a Medicare levy or anything like that, you're not paying any of those things, no sick leave, no time off, that's all factored in. So $500 a day, once you cut out half, if you're only working, 2/3 of the year, plus 30% goes to tax, plus it gets down quickly. So, you know, don't start freelancing and then buy a motorbike after day one. I hope that helps. Kyle Hamrick, oh my God, you noticed that I couldn't, like, what is it? Kylosaurus? I remember his username. Kyle Hamrick's great. Check out Motion Design Hotline as well. He did with Evan Abrams on their channel a lot. They're great. Okay, no one pirates the Adobe software. No one ever did that when they were a student. But now it's, you know, do you animate with Procreate at all? I've tried it once. I don't like animating with Procreate, to be honest. You can't add layers really easily. It's really a pain in the ass. Like, if you just had one layer, it's fine. It's great. But yeah, working with layers is really not good. Rough Animator is my favorite animation app. Hopefully they make working with layers a lot better in their updates. And I trust them to do so because they're Procreate are updating the app really well. The fact that I have animation features in there at all is a great sign, and hopefully one they're gonna keep adding more. All right, do you charge advanced payments then start project? Not really. I tend to prefer to work on a day rate and go into a studio. If you're working with a client where it's like, hey, a set budget, like, oh, it's $5,000 for this project. Depending, the higher the budget, the more you want in advance, because they're probably not going to pay you for 30 days until after the project's finished, and that might be months down the line. So if you can get 50% upfront, that's good, and I think that's probably best practices. If it's a small job, if it's like, you know, a few $100s, it's normally just not worth it. But yeah, I'd encourage everyone to get in advance. Also, Kimchi 2021 costume calendar. I like it. I would definitely be. We can do that. Recommend any challenges like Inktober for Mograph. You can do Inktober, but animated. It'll be hard, but you can do it. There's Qvember as well. There's something for every month. There is a 36 days of time. Monday's challenge is a really good Mograph challenge. Loop to Loop is awesome as well. They are on hiatus at the moment, but find challenges like that. They're great. I've thought about, I do want to start my own one, like a Inktober, like a Marry a Timber, or I can't do Mographember. That's too similar to Movember. Motion February or something like that. I thought about starting one where, you know, we'll animate something, and maybe every day we animate. I think it would be good to animate a certain part of an animation, and then at the end of the month you'd have 30 days, like 30 seconds that you can add up, and you'd have one flowing sequence. I thought that could be really cool. But yeah, again, these are my long-term ambitious projects that I haven't got around to doing so far. May of Motion May. Perfect. Let's do it. Frame by frame February. Awesome. That seems really good. Okay, how long are we streaming now? Okay, I'm gonna cut. We're gonna have 5 more minutes of streaming, and then we're cutting it off. Oh, we still got a lot of viewers though. So, thank you very much for sticking around. So 5 minutes. We're hitting the hard questions. If you've got a question that you need me to answer, that you want me to see, I'm going to do lightning round for the next 5 minutes. I'll try to answer every question I can that I see in the chat. Viewer retention, poggers everyone. Best place to learn expressions. Or I don't know. School of Motion have a good expressions course. I think it's got really awesome people teaching it. That's a great one. Monday, tutorial please. Do you have any tattoos? Yes. I'm not sure if you can see that in the camera. I have hang on, where's my, yeah. I've got a, sorry, I wasn't speaking to my, I've got a Lego skull as a tattoo. I got that a few years ago. I want to get more, but yeah, they're expensive. They take time. And the skincare routine. Oh, I use a Bulldog face wash in the morning and heaps of moisturizer because I get very dry. I geometry very dry and oily skin, but I don't have great skin at all. At all. Like, you know, you're lucky that you caught me on a good day where I've not got like eczema all over my face. Like a skull. Best render farm Cinema 4D. I got no idea. Never tried it. How do you approach a client that is not listening to your recommendations? Too stubborn to take advice. Give up. Find a new client, or just give up. Just accept that, you know, that's the work that they're going to want to make. Normally, it's not worth the fight. If they're putting up that much struggle, you're not going to convince them, and if you do, they're not going to be happy. Even if you do a good job and it gets the results, they get more money, they get more sales. They're going to think, well, it would have been better if I did my idea. If a client that's stubborn, it's not worth the fight. Fine, you know, just deal with it. Just learn to say, yes, sure, and make their designs. And normally it's going to be, and just accept it's going to be ugly and don't use your name on it. Okay, do you have an ergonomic chair? No, I've got just a regular you know, it's a regular chair. I got a chair that looks nice. But yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get a new studio next year, and I'll splash out for a nice chair, because you know I sit in it a lot every day, and I suppose I don't want to have a bendy back by the time I'm 31. Have you ever tried 3D? I've been trying Blender recently, and I've got a video coming out about it this week where I talk about my experience using 3D for the first time. So stay tuned for that. Favorite After Effects plugin? Flow or Easecopy. Easecopy is free, so get on that one. I've got 2 videos about this. Go watch those. Give me that watch time. Do you fear carpal tunnel? I fear it. I don't give it the fear it probably deserves. Yeah, yes I do. Do you ever draw on iPad? Yeah, I draw on iPad all the time. Procreate. I did a lot of my design. The design for the thumbnail for this video I did in Procreate as well. Do you recommend mouse as keyboard? I got the MX Master Mouse M2. I want to get the M3, but you know the MX Master Mouse is an awesome. That won't focus. Never mind about that. Get any keyboard you want. I got a mechanical one, like a Logitech one. I just got a mechanical keyboard that didn't have obnoxious gamer RGBs in it. That's my recommendation. Okay. Is monitor quality important? Yeah, it's good. Like a good 4K monitor and color accuracy is what I want in a monitor. But you know, I've used bad monitors before, and you know, it's worked out fine. Before monitor technology was this good, people managed. But I like to have a really good monitor. Like I like to have 4K, really bright, vivid colors. Yeah. Dane Interpolator. Are people interested in that? I've been thinking about maybe I should do a video about that for a while. But how much? Okay. But yeah, Dane Interpolator. Do people want to know more about that? It can add frames to our animations. Oh my god, my secondary light went out. Battery has run out in this guy. That's how long we've been talking. Oh, we've got a few more minutes left. Okay. Someone asked me another question I started asking. How much RAM you got? I got 64 gigs, baby. I got 64 gigs. I didn't need that much. I should have got 32 and upgraded later. That's a lot. RAM was very expensive when I was buying it as well. It was like a third of the cost of the PC. The most, like that was more than my processor, more than GPU, anything. Doesn't live stream ruin notification analytics? I don't know. That's why I don't live stream often. That's why I want to start a Twitch channel. Okay, what conditioner do you use? I'm one of those guys from the memes, like the male body wash, 6-in-1, hair, face, car, dishwasher. I want as little products as possible. Camera and light setup. I've got the Canon EOS M50. It's an awesome camera. It's small, mirrorless, lightweight, gets decent quality. I've had to zoom in a lot on this, so it's a bit blurry than I would like. But other than that, RGB does make your computer go faster. All right, we've got 1 more minute. So I'm gonna say thank you to everyone in the stream. I really appreciated everyone that gave super chat, everyone that stuck around, gave questions. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for just being a part of the community and supporting the channel, and supporting, I mean, by watching it. Liking the videos, by commenting. That means so much to me. It means that I can do this full time and that I can spend all my time making more content for you guys. And I'm really excited to tips for typography coming up in a tutorial soon. And yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It makes me. I really like streaming. Hopefully we'll do. I'll start up a Twitch soon. I'll start up a Discord server so we can get more of a community going, and we'll pick a community name. So far, my favorite ones were the Guanamators, the Cauldron. There's another one. Lots of people, Marioteers. There were some great ones. I'm gonna scroll through the chat to get some ones that I remember, and yeah, and I'll do a poll probably on. I'll do a poll on YouTube, probably a poll on Instagram as well. So yeah. See you guys. Hope you have a great day. Good afternoon in America. Good evening elsewhere in the world, and good morning in Sydney. Now it's time for us all to get to work back in Australia. All right. See you, everyone. Goodbye. Oh my God. Where's my end stream button? That should have been more dramatic. I'll do another goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, we sign off, and we always label our layers.